Someone who made some interesting comments after yesterday's game is the topic of our next discussion, who's brought to us by Mazda. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into the extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. Myles Garrett always talks after games, and yesterday he had a couple of quotes that took at least my attention. We're going to read 3 of these real quick. They're brief answers, so I decided to use tweets instead of the actual quotes because it didn't sound
bold decision right there, Mike.
This is the first one from Mary Kay Cabin.
No graphics.
Mary Kay asked Myles if it's harder and harder to dig deep and keep pressing on amid the losing like it was for Browns' Joe Thomas. Myles said, yup.
I could use a picture there, Mike.
We could.
Use a
Next
Picture of
tweet.
Myles just deflated.
Daniel Oyafusi said Myles was asked what goes through his mind when he watches the Steelers pass rushers get after the quarterback with a 2-score lead. He said, quote, must be nice.
Yeah, that one really
Life
stood
Jennings.
out to me.
And then the last one was Myles was asked, and he said, quote, it is frustrating as hell to keep losing the same way. G, what do you make of these comments from Myles Garrett?
This segment is sponsored by Life Jennings. Oh my gosh!
What is Myles really trying to say here, G?
What he's saying is must be nice, man. And listen, even when your hustling days is gone, Myles still be on the sideline, still holding on. And even when the stadium still... Listen, this is crazy work. Myles Garrett is telling you, listen, you got about 2-3 days to check out. You got about 2-3 days to get something going. See, Jason said they not going to get rid of him. Hey, listen, that might be the plan. But I told y'all, when you start taking L's after L's after L's, and this dude is singing R&B songs, talk about it must be nice, looking at other people on the sidelines, when Jalen Ramsey is sacking your quarterback and pointing to you on the sidelines, you start to get clowned. And let me tell you about the thing about Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. See, even if they really wanted to trade him, Jay, now, if I'm not a capologist,
His dead cat number is 97 million. He's
yeah,
Not
so,
doable.
So when you get a dude like that, everybody looks up to him, really. Like, people like, oh, that's the leader, that's the guy. If he ain't playing, then that means Denzel Ward ain't playing. If Denzel Ward ain't playing, that means nobody is playing.
When your anchor lets go of the tug of war rope,
done.
the game is over.
It's over. And your cap hit is $90 million. So here's the thing. Now you got a bunch of people on your roster that got a bunch of money that you owe, you can't move. I don't know how Deshaun Watson feels about him, but they can't move him. They can't move Myles Garrett. They can't move Denzel Ward. So if they keep losing and keep losing and keep losing, there is no downside to them being disgruntled and going right up to the ivory tower and say, hey, listen, I speak for a lot of guys in the locker room right now, and this ain't a good look.
It's not working.
This is not working for us. And then guess what? The ivory tower has to respond some way, shape, or form, and it can't even be punitive because you can't cut them, you can't trade them. And when the locker room goes, there is no way, shape, or form any coach can hold on to the job. So here's the thing. I'm telling you, maybe calling plays ain't Stefanski's thing. You need a fresher breath air somewhere, and the only way to keep your stuff is go get Tommy Reese, tell him to cook up something, tell Jim Schwartz, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I know they traded you starting cornerback in a week, and the new guy came in, and they victimized him. But listen, that
Genu got victimized too.
Hey, it was a clean wash, right?
It was bad.
It was bad.
You take our sucky player, we'll take your sucky player.
So now, I'm just sitting there telling you, man. So this is what this is the emotional side of the game of football. When you start taking L's like this, not only are you upset, you get despondent. And the second thing that you don't want is you don't want to have a level of vitriol, because now he's looking at you with contempt, being like, so you telling me I got to go out here, I got to get treatment 4 hours a day to come out here to watch us score 9 points? No, I'm cool. I accidentally got my hamstring, the hamstring injury you play through, all of a sudden is a little too rough. The concussion symptoms that you keep to yourself You got your bell rung a little bit. Now you're in the protocol. The little toe injury you had, I don't know if I can really make it through the practice week with that. That's the worst thing that can happen. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Y'all better circle these wagons. These comments is very alarming. I'm going to let you know that right now.
I love the comments. I don't care. Like whatever he says is all right. I also don't have any sympathy for Myles Garrett.
No, he made his bed.
Nobody forced him
He's
to sign
gotta lie
these
in this
contracts.
bed now.
I mean,
Yep.
he could have left. In fact, for all the talk that the Browns couldn't trade him last year, if Myles Garrett truly was like, I'm getting out of here no matter what, he could have held out.
Yeah.
He could have not, he could have done that. He's made enough money. Wherever he ended up, that team would have paid him the same, if not more, than the Browns did. He wouldn't have gotten his no trade clause somewhere else, but he would have got a ton of money.
Remember how many?
So I don't know if he's, but I still love that he's saying these things because I want to hear the truth.
Yeah, he's telling the truth. He was telling the truth in January too when he did
He wanted out, and then the Browns gave him gas. That's how dumb the Browns are. Your best player tells you he wants out, and you not only give him a massive extension, you also give him a no trade clause.
Do you remember how many people got up in their feelings when I wrote that they should have traded him when they signed him?
Yeah.
Remember, you talk about the culture issue in this team. The two most expensive players on this roster, the two leaders on this team on the offense and defense, both went to the Browns and said, I don't want to be here. And what did Jimmy do? He kept adding zeros until they said, all right, this is what you get.
That sums up Jimmy.
If you traded,
the clown.
What would the hit look like if you traded Myles Garrett last year?
You would have had to have done it after in the new business year. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. It would have been really hard to trade him prior to the draft. They could have traded him sort of when the Cowboys moved Micah. When you get into the new year, it would have been less of a cap hit. I don't remember exactly what it would have been. It would have been hard, but you smart teams figure it out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You know why they needed Myles Garrett? They needed him to prop this up. If you don't have Myles Garrett, you are looking at one in something. Or
yeah, but what's the difference, Gene?
They won three with him.
Win one, win three.
Nah, see, this is what we're talking about. We say this all the time. What's the difference between 1 and 3? Okay, well, let's talk about this. If the Browns win one game this year, who's around? Nobody.
What do you mean, who's around?
All of it. If the Browns win one game this year, they're all getting fired.
Well, if they win 3, they're probably all getting fired.
So
maybe.
The
I don't really know the answer.
So the hope is,
Yeah, that's a pivot for you.
I don't know the
You've
answer to
insisted
that.
that no matter what happens, they're not going anywhere.
So the hope
They're not
is,
trying to win.
The hope is I at least need Myles Garrett so somebody could come watch or at least have something to look
The
at.
sad part is fans are going to watch anyway.
No, I don't
you're
agree.
addicted to it.
I
We're
don't
all
agree with
addicted
that.
to it. It's in our blood.
Bull, in the 1 and 31 year, nobody was watching like that.
I don't have a lot of sympathy for Myles because Myles knew what he was signing up for.
Yep.
Listen,
took the money.
He got his money.
He told the truth in January.
Yep.
He had told no lies.
Yep.
And they added enough zeros to where he said, all right, well, that'll be pain and suffering. So for you to come out now and say it, it's like, well, yeah, dude, you knew it at the time.
I agree.
And you took the money. So now you're stuck. Because now you're not going.
I like
Now you are Joe Thomas.
The timing of it was odd to me because it didn't come after a particular amazing Myles Garrett effort. He's played much better in games that they were much closer to winning this year, where he didn't come out and say that. Now, maybe it's the frustration.
He had 2 tackles, 1 hurry, by the way.
I
Those
know.
were his
I
game
was.
stats.
I tell you guys, I've brought the story up before. It reminds me of where the Buccaneers were in 2000, where they had a really good defense. They had Warren Sapp anchoring the line. They had Derek Brooks in the middle. They had Rondé Barber and John Lynch in the back end. And they also had a quarterback in Trent Dilfer that they were rolling out there, scoring 7, 11, 14, 12, 9, 16. And I remember sitting right in front of Warren Sapp's locker where he said, I'm getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. And he said as much without, he said it stronger, I think, than what we saw from Myles. But Warren had a way of making sure everybody in the room knew what the temperature was. And it was almost ironic because Warren, the whole defense loved Tony Dungy. But the owner heard, his translation of all their comments was Tony had to go. And it was hard on those guys. They were very close to Tony. They looked at Tony as a father figure. And they fired Tony and brought in John, and in an instant, I watched a team with great talent on one side of the ball and mediocre talent on the other side of the ball. The entire culture of the organization changed. Tony Dungy is Kevin Stefanski. And what I mean by that is demeanor, personality, his thermostat that sets the temperature in the room for everyone. Tony was Kevin. John Gruden came in, and to give somebody an idea that maybe didn't remember what he was back then, he was a Dan Campbell. He came in, and on the first day of his news conference, and I'll never believe anything different than this, he mispronounced Mike Allstott's name. He called him Mark Allstott.
Facts.
And we all looked around, and everybody was like, oh, my God, that's one of his best offensive players.
I think he confirmed that later. Like
I've never heard that. I would love that. But I immediately started telling guys, he did that on purpose. He basically said, I don't know who you guys are because you haven't made your name and your play measurable. And instantly, they opened training camp a few months later at Disney, and the media, we just were looking around every day going, oh my God, the on-field players have all remained the same. And you brought in one, granted he's the leader, but you brought in one guy that had a purpose, a focus, and a point on the horizon. And everything changed overnight. Everything. And I'm not saying that can happen here because I don't know that Myles is pointing his angst at anybody. I don't think he's going to, I want to get Kevin fired, so I'm going to come out and say this. Just like Warren Sapp didn't want to get Tony Dungy fired. At the end of the day, what happened in Tampa was you changed out the philosophy and the temperature and the mood. And from that point on, the results completely changed. They took a team with Super Bowl talent and they won a Super Bowl.
Did the owner in Tampa sit in on the Friday strategy meetings and on the Monday recap
The owner in Tampa was way too involved for like, if you're going to judge on owners that are perfectly involved, not enough or too much. He was too much, but he wasn't sitting in on meetings. No, but he was micromanaging little things that he should not have been micromanaging.
What's the Colts
and when
record?
John came in, John said, no, that's not how you win football. You win at football by letting the football people make decisions.
What's the
You
Colts
don't
record?
win in football by letting rich people who built shopping malls make decisions.
You said the Colts is what? What is that?
Colts are 5-1.
Hey, shout out to the owner of the Colts out there taking notes. Shout out to her with the headset on. At the end of the day, I'm gonna just say this like this. I don't care. You can put all the executives right here. Line them up. G. Bush gonna talk his talk. At some point in time, once your results is what they is, they stop looking. If you want to come watch to see what we do, you want to know how the sausage is made, come on right on in, because we can still keep it cooking. My thing is this. We all know how this game works, man. Y'all done been in the industry way longer than me. See, you guys have all, at one point in time when y'all in the industry, you sign what is called a long-term deal. When you get that long-term deal, and that is guaranteed, you know what it is. Guess what? If they want to bring consultants in, I ain't coming to that meeting. I'll kick rocks. Listen, you know what it is. Bull is notorious. You don't come in here and tell me how to do my show.
Damn right.
You done lost your mind. When you got that long-term bag, if the teleprompter messed up, Jay gonna give him 3 days, maybe 2.5. Hey, man, I know you're new around here, but you gotta get them words up there right, bro. We the clocking ain't working right now. You see how that worked? So here's the thing. The worst thing you can have is a tenured professor with all this bonus and pensioned up and ready to go, and you trying to take L's. They not gonna take it. They're gonna be like, they do the math. It's a simple calculation. 1 carry to 2. I'm gonna be here longer than you. And at the end of the day, right or wrong, if enough of them tenured people start to give out these little tea leaves that it's over, it's cool, I'll catch y'all in 26. Nah, because the problem is you got a bunch of impressionable younger guys, the Fannons, the Junkins, the Grahams, the Swessingers, the guys that you had in this draft class that we all say we like and feel 2 quarterbacks that's young. You can't have them whispering, talking about what this coach is and what this coach ain't, and they are drafted by these people. They start to convince them like, We ain't got the right people in charge. And then you start bad habits with younger players, and it never. Mikey McNuggets gave me a story. We were sitting at Sweetport Wilson. He said, I like Ben Simmons, I like Joel Embiid, I like Okafor, I like all of those guys. But tanking and losing never helped nobody. And those dudes made more money than I ever made in Philadelphia. But the process of taking L after L after L after L, getting them picks, is no one has ever tanked their way to a championship. And that's facts.
And Jason, I know that I'm not killing the messenger. You're the messenger.
Yep.
The message came from the Browns. You have been saying since last year, and you reiterate it every week and I believe you. You're right. They're not trying to win. They're not trying to win.
Well, to be clear, nobody with the Browns has come out and told me, "Hey, we're not trying to win."
But you know what time it is over there.
I just know how they think.
You're reading what you're reading.
Yes.
I trust you as much as any reporter that covers the Browns. You're around it. You see it. You know. You've been telling us. I keep saying that's a loser's mentality. That's not what's going on. You're like, I'm telling you, they're not trying to win. Well, guess what? I believe you. But here's the problem in that. It's a loser's mentality. And if you can sniff it out, so can Myles Garrett.
Absolutely.
So can Denzel Ward.
Absolutely.
And what you get is a bunch of guys on the anchor end of that tug-of-war rope going, hell with it.
Well, that's the
We're
thing.
not pulling anybody across that line.
I've sort of mentioned this before, and I'm not defending it. I'm just pointing it out. Like,
You're the messenger.
But what's funny is Steelers don't have a quarterback. They haven't had a
Nope.
quarterback
No.
since been retired. They don't care. They're going to plug somebody in. They're going to win 9, 10 games. They're going to make the playoffs. Now, they're not going to win the Super Bowl.
No.
But they're just going to keep doing
They
this.
get serviceable.
Until-
You know what they do? They give their fans 12 enjoyable Sundays
Now their
every
fans
year.
are not happy.
That's
No,
what's so
because
funny
they're
about it.
Not as
spoiled.
unhappy as the Browns.
That's
Well,
what's
you
so
know what?
funny about it.
That's
Now
human
fans
nature,
want
though.
Tomlin fired.
That's human nature. You
Yeah.
give me 80, I want 100.
But
you give me
know
100,
what?
I want 120.
I would
we
guess,
got 20.
I would guess within the next 3 years, they'll have a franchise quarterback. I don't know where they're going to find.
They'll
find
get it.
They'll
They'll
find
figure-
them.
The Steelers?
Yep,
Oh.
they'll figure it out.
Because this is their culture. This is the Browns culture.
They never tank Steelers ever.
The Browns culture and mindset is, well, we're not going to win this year. We can't worry about winning. We have to find a franchise quarterback. Nothing else can matter until we find a franchise quarterback. That's the only way we can win. That's how they operate. That's how they think. The Steelers we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep winning. We'll plug in a veteran
We'll
here.
win 9, 10 games in the short.
We'll plug in Russ, then we'll plug in Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
And we'll just keep winning until we figure out the quarterback piece. Now, what the Steelers have the luxury of doing, and what the Colts have the luxury of doing that the Browns do not have the luxury of doing, the Colts could pay Daniel Jones $14 million, and he came in and he was a hit. The Steelers could pay Aaron Rodgers $14 million. The Browns can't even pay a quarterback $14 million because they're still paying Deshaun Watson $180 million against the cap. So they have to get Kenny Pickett on a $2 million deal. They have to get Joe Flacco on a $2 million deal. They have to draft mid-round rookies. Like they're trying to scrape by.
All roads go back to Deshaun Watson's trade.
Yes. That's
it.
what I keep saying.
I said it before they made it.
It wrecked
5 years.
It wrecked the entire franchise. It wrecked the cap sheet. It wrecked the roster. It wrecked the draft picks that they lost.
Culture.
It wrecked everything. So we can sit here every week and we can scream about the same things. We can scream about the play calling and about this and about that. And you're right. It's true. It's all right. But the bigger picture doesn't change. That trade wrecked the entire franchise and it set them back multiple years. And now they just have to dig out of it.